Number 8, 1972, Dodge D100. It carried the Mopar name. That alone should have promised thunder. In the height of Detroit's muscle era, Dodge was pumping out Chargers, Challengers, and Roadrunners that shook the streets. So when you saw a Dodge pickup, long hood, squared-off stance, you might have expected it to share some of that firepower. The 1972 D100 looked the part, but when it came time to prove itself, the show fizzled fast. The D100 was Dodge's bread-and-butter half-ton pickup, redesigned in 1972 with boxier lines and a fresher face to keep up with Ford and Chevy. It had the rugged charm of a truck that could haul hay during the day and roll up to a Friday night meet without looking out of place. Dodge even marketed it as more civilized, with extra comfort and trim options aimed at younger buyers who wanted style with their utility. On first impression, it could have been a sleeper waiting to happen. Under the hood, though, reality cut the fantasy short. Sure, there were big block options like the 400 and even the legendary 440 V8, which in high-spec form could crank out 275 to 280 horsepower and over 350 pound-feet of torque. On paper, those numbers had potential, but the truth? Very few trucks were actually ordered that way. The vast majority left showrooms with small blocks like the 318 V8, producing just 150 horsepower, or the straight six rated closer to 110. Combine that with curb weights hovering around 3,800 to 4,000 pounds, and acceleration was lethargic. 0 to 60 miles per hour times often crept into the 13 to 15 second range. By the time the truck got moving, that Chevelle at the light was already out of sight. And unlike Dodge's muscle cars, which wore their performance proudly, the D100 often teased without delivering. The stance, the nameplate, the Mopar association, it all hinted at hidden speed. But what most drivers got was a durable work truck that looked faster than it was. So while the D100 earns points for toughness and longevity, it really could take punishment. Its sleeper credentials were almost non-existent. In the world of trucks that promised bite, this Dodge ended up all bark. Next, we slide over to Ford again, where a car-based pickup promised muscle styling, but left buyers scratching their heads at the lack of real punch. Number 7, 1973 Ford Ranchero 500. It looked like a muscle car with a bed. Long hood, fastback-inspired lines, and the swagger of a Torino coupe on steroids. To the untrained eye, it had all the makings of a secret street terror. But the 1973 Ford Ranchero 500 proved that looks alone don't make a sleeper. By '73, Ford was marketing the Ranchero as a stylish alternative to the plain old pickup. This was no farmhand, it was a personal truck, aimed at buyers who wanted utility with a splash of flair. The Ranchero 500 trim, in particular, carried plenty of visual muscle. Bold chrome, wide stance, and the kind of presence that hinted at serious horsepower hiding underneath. Pair that with Ford's history of building monsters like the Torino Cobra, and people had every reason to expect performance. But under the hood, that's where things fell apart. The Ranchero 500 wasn't the GT. Instead of the thunderous 429 or 351 Cleveland, most buyers ended up with engines like the 302 small block V8, making just 140 horsepower, or worse, the base inline six barely reaching 98 horsepower. With a curb weight nudging past 3,700 pounds, the result was uninspired at best. 0 to 60 miles per hour times dragged into the 14 to 15 second range. For something that looked so bold, it moved with the urgency of a family sedan on its last legs. And let's not forget the era. 1973 marked the beginning of stricter emission standards and the oil crisis. Ford's engines were being strangled by regulations, power ratings dropped across the board, and the Ranchero 500 felt the brunt of it. To the eye, it was all menace. On the street, it was mild. That mismatch is exactly why it lands on this list. It wasn't a terrible vehicle. It served its purpose as a stylish hauler. But as a sleeper, it failed the test. The Ranchero 500 wore muscle clothing, but had no muscle underneath. And if you're enjoying uncovering the pretenders of the pickup world, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more deep cuts into automotive history, and tell us in the comments which of these trucks fooled you the most.